This is now the third time that we've had this opportunity to present to you all, and I've never felt that it was more important than this one. We see what's happening across the globe. We see the pressures, the challenges, the problems, and in some cases, crises. And so it gives me a great pleasure to introduce the next generation of leaders who are actually leading right now. So the first thing I want to ask you is, why did you make the decision to come to West Point? I want each one of you to answer that. You have to walk 20 miles with a 30-pound rucksack in the rain, in the snow. You sleep outside, and you're not homeless. I want to know why you decide to make that sacrifice.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm Benjamin Dunn. I'm from Chapin, South Carolina, and I study law at West Point. Ultimately, my desire to attend West Point and serve in the Army stems from an immense passion that I have for being an American. And I was taught from an early age that because this country has given me so much, I owe an obligation to give back. And I felt that service through West Point and commissioning as a second lieutenant in the United States Army was my way to do so.
Miles?
Hi, my name is Manney. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I'm also a law major just like Ben. My reason's not as great as Ben's. I came from free college, but West Point actually taught me the value of service. That's where I learned it.
Hey all, my name is Will Greenway. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I study American politics. I came to West Point because my brother, who's 10 years older than me, started thinking about service in the Army when he was about 16, so I was 6. And he wasn't able to go to West Point, but he always told me, if you want to serve the same way that I did, then you should go to West Point, because the best officers that he was around while he was in the Army came from there, and so I just followed his example.
Yeah. Hi everyone, my name is Jillian Pennell. I grew up in Huntsville, Alabama, and I study American politics at the Academy as well. I'm a Christian, so I felt like the Lord had called me to service from a really young age, and from all of the military members that I grew up around, I knew that that would be the best opportunity to serve both that calling that I felt when I was little, but also for the country that I had seen produce such great leaders in my family and community around me.
My name is Will Plank. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I'm a Defense and Strategic Studies major at the United States Military Academy. My desire to serve, as cliche as it sounds, comes from a desire to want to help people. And that manifested itself around about 6 or 7 years ago whenever I started talking to a recruiter to join the Army, and he is the one that put me on the direction to joining West Point and becoming a cadet at the United States Military Academy.
Hello everyone, my name's Sam Mulvey. I'm from Mayfield, Pennsylvania, and I'm a philosophy major at West Point. Why I came to West Point is because I was inspired by the ideals set out in Plato's Republic, being educated in both physical training, mental readiness, and academic pursuits.
So can you explain to our audience here, what does leadership with character mean to you personally? Don't give me a soundbite. Tell me how you execute it and why it matters so much. Any of you?
I think I can take that, sir. So I think that whenever you're talking about leadership with character, right, it always comes down to integrity. It's about being able to do the right thing whenever nobody's watching and choosing that harder right over the easier wrong whenever you are being tasked to or being called to lead others and be that one to be there and make the decisions for them.
Somebody else?
For myself, I'm inspired by the idea that my life is no more important than anybody else's life. And to remind that as a leader, I'm out in front, but it's still about everyone else around me.
One more.
I had a mentor that told me when I was younger in high school that has been reaffirmed every day at the Academy is people don't care what you know, they want to know that you care. And every day at the Academy as upperclassmen, we get the opportunity to show the underclass that we care about them and that we're there for them.
You got a motto which has changed how I behave. And even coming in here, I was saying to them, be brief, but I was doing it in a way that wasn't leadership oriented. And you already gave me hell over this. So I'm trying to be a better person. Hopefully you'll say that I succeeded. And if you don't, I'll flunk you, just for the record. What does leadership with character mean? Somebody, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I think a really important tenet of that is selfless service. And it's not about just leading your soldiers, but it's about getting to know them, getting to know what they're passionate about, what they care about, so that you can really ensure that you're working towards their goals as well. And I would just say being a team player and taking a genuine interest in the lives and interests of your subordinates.
Dr. Luntz, I think it's an important fact to remember that our military, our Army, is an all-volunteer force, and it's important that we produce leaders every year that have that character background, because anybody can pick up a field manual, a training manual, read down the list of obligations and execute, but it takes a special kind of person that can reflect on who they are personally and execute those obligations as a leader with their soldiers in mind, with the families behind those soldiers in mind, and with the greater needs of the country in mind.
So I want you to know something about her, and I did this a year ago, and I do not mean to remind you of it, because you got a little bit emotional. This cadet here has changed more than any other cadet I've taught at West Point. From what I saw her as a plebe, as a freshman, to what she is now as a firstie, a senior, is absolutely incredible. How does West Point mold someone who has become such an awesome human being? And don't be humble.
Well, sir, I think the curriculum that we all go through together puts us in unique places where we have to confront our vices and stamp them out, and it finds our virtues, and we have the opportunity to amplify them. So whether it's in my American politics classes, which I've been taking with Will for the last 3 years, or it's in field training with maybe another one of these gentlemen on the stage with me, it's not just me by myself, it's my peers that help me find those virtues and, again, amplify them, or they are, candid enough that they can help me find the constructive criticism in the things that I'm lacking in.
And to add on to Jill, I think competition is such an important part of our curriculum, and in the same manner that iron sharpens iron, I truly believe that my fellow cadets push me to be the best version of myself every day, and I think all of us find great inspiration from our peers, especially when they outperform us, and the way that they are willing to help us improve our shortcomings is inspiring.
So what is it about your teaching? What is it about the curriculum, the military, the athletics that makes West Point so exceptional?
I don't know about me, but I have a weakness in swimming. And I'm sure everyone else here's weakness has been exposed by West Point. You learn not to fear failure, but to fear not responding to failure. And that's what West Point really teaches you.
And then going back to one of the first things that you learn while you're at the academy, right? You get off the bus, they shave your head, you don't know where you're really at half the time, you're sleep deprived, and then the first thing they make you learn is a cadet honor code. Cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, and most importantly, won't tolerate those who do. So from the very beginning, West Point sets a precedent that you will not only hold yourself to the standard, but you will also hold others to that standard as well and work with them to meet that standard.
So what is about that honor code that makes West Point produce such exceptional leaders of character?
Sir, I would say it starts with Honor Plaza, where the code is etched in a material where it's reflective. So every day on our way to classes, we walk past Honor Plaza and see the honor code, and you see yourself in it, which is a testament that we own the code. The court of law for the code is cadets. If somebody commits a violation, they go before a board of their peers. It's our thing, and every day we get to wake up knowing that that is the banner that we live under, and you can leave your iPad in the library and go get a cup of coffee and not fear that it's not going to come back, and you can trust people around you to always put you above themselves because of the banner of the code that we all live under.
You're the class president.
Yes, sir.
They chose you to be number one. I want to compare you to our national president, but I know not to do that. What is it about what they saw in you? And this is a horrible question to ask, but I'm asking you to be candid.
Sure.
You're going to be the person they turn to for the next 5, 10, 20, 50 years. What do you bring to that role of president that they saw in you that they want you to represent them?
Sure. I would say positivity and authenticity. For 500th night and for our recent ring weekend, I actually did a poem for my speech. I did a poem that's super unique and it hasn't been done before. That's what I offer to the table, that positivity and that uniqueness.
Any chance you'd share with them a bit of that poem?
We'll save it for another time, but yes, sir. We'll save it for another time.
What else is it that makes West Point so exceptional and extraordinary?
I'd say that although we are in constant competition with each other, at the end of the day, we understand that we're all part of one team, the same team, and a great motivator as to why we hold each other to account is because we understand that the soldiers that we are going to lead upon graduation deserve the best, and it would be a fault and a detriment to our Army if I don't hold my peers accountable because the soldiers deserve the very best versions of officers.
West Point's not a perfect institution like any institution out there, but every one of us is committed to those ideals of duty, honor, country. So on a daily basis, we're continuing to try to reach that perfection.
So I'm going to ask you, what does duty, honor, country mean to you?
The duty is to be the best version of myself so that when I'm in charge of others, they are getting the best version, or the best person they can possibly be, the best leadership that they deserve. The honor is upholding myself to that standard and then those around me. And the country, it's the Constitution. It's those ideals that we swear to all 6 of us here in about 9 months to support and defend.
I don't think that people know that. Can you explain the fact that your oath is not to the president, it's not to the country, it's not to the government, it's to the Constitution?
Yes, sir. That is one thing that, right, has always been said, is that we, every single day, we are serving, right, and we are serving with, we have a duty to serve, right, we're serving with honor, and we're serving our country. But what is that country, right? What is the United States, if not the ideals being put forth by the Constitution? We don't fight and die for a president. We don't fight and die for Congress. We fight and die for the American people. And the American people are protected and entrusted with the ideals of the Constitution.
Okay, then give them a sentence to describe your relationship to the United States. A sentence to describe this country. Start with you and go all the way down.
I would just say I'm filled with a great sense of gratitude. This country has given me so much, and I'm eager to give back.
This country is my everything. This country gave me life, and this country continues to give me life. And I'd like to quickly brief on duty, honor, country. Duty, honor, country is the what, how, and why of West Point. So the what is your duty. You're going to get the job done in front of you. The how is honor. You're going to honor your country in the process, and country is what you're doing it for.
To me, the United States is my home, and it's the banner of freedom for the rest of the world.
Yeah, I think, Dr. Luntz, our generation is positive when we think about the future of our country. And so in a sentence, I would just say it's a beacon of hope for the future for us. I know that sounds a little cliche, but I mean, listening to my peers up here talk about the country so passionately in the way that I do is reassuring.
So I got to ask him to shortcut this. You're so positive, and we know that Americans are so negative right now. You ask people, is America heading in the right direction or is it off on the wrong track? It's 2-to-1 negative. Why are you so positive when your colleagues and your peers are so negative?
America is an experiment, and it's an experiment worth fighting for. I'm drawn back to the book of Genesis when Abraham discusses with God saving Sodom and Gomorrah, that story. And as long as there was 5 righteous people, Abraham pleaded God. And it's the same thing as the United States. As long as we're still committed to those values of the Constitution as the guiding front, I'm willing to give my life up in its defense.
So you're going to appreciate this, and I do want to do this back and forth, so if you got a question, let me know. How can military leaders ensure that their actions honor both the mission and the values of the society that they serve? Anyone?
Sir, I would say the biggest thing I've learned from the officers that have mentored me at the academy is, as a leader, you can't live inside of an echo chamber, and you always have to be talking up and down, so to your boss and your boss's boss, and then those soldiers that are serving under you. If you can get a bigger picture, leaders have to operate with 80% of the information, but if you can get that number higher to 90, 95%, then you can execute and do things that affect your soldiers or your subordinates in a really positive way if you solicit more information.
Someone else?
So I'd say that it comes back down to, right, the type of orders that we have to follow. And we are obligated to follow any order that is legal, but also ethical, right? And so whenever we talk about that, what is ethical, that's where it comes down to that individual leader to know what right looks like, to know not only the law, but also know what morals and values they stand for, which are those Army values.
So you have to do the hard right,
Yes, sir.
not the easy wrong. And you have to do it all the way through. How do you do it when you're under so much pressure to take the easy path? Go.
You start by making your bed when you wake up in the morning. You start by doing the small things right and build those virtues and those habits, so when you get into that difficult scenario, that you're so ingrained and so instilled that it's not a hard right, it is the right.
How many of you do not make your bed in the morning? Raise your hands if you don't make your bed. 96% of the audience does not make their bed. So obviously that's not true. So I could be actually suspended, fired for saying that. How hard is it to uphold the honor code? Because there's no leeway. You have to do it.
I think it's difficult in the sense that I couldn't imagine being satisfied with completing a task in a way that didn't uphold my character. I can't imagine looking at my peers and them asking, oh, Jillian, how'd you get through this task so quickly? And I couldn't explain to them that I did it in a way that was wrong or ingenuine or violated their trust. Like the entire idea behind the curriculum of the academy that we talked about earlier is that we have this sort of mutual trust and this character instilled in us so that when we are in more dire situations or we are in more pressing decision-making processes, we have a foundation that you don't even have to think about. It's a split-second muscle memory kind of reaction.
Is it learned or is it already in you? When you got to West Point, were you different at that point, or is it what West Point teaches and how it teaches that made you different?
I think everyone comes in with a baseline. I think everyone comes here with a baseline of virtues and ethics that just from their upbringing. But then West Point simply refines it and makes you even better.
Somebody else?
I mean, I think we self-select. I mean, I can't imagine one of my peers that wouldn't have wanted to commit to something larger than themselves like that. I mean, you have to self-select to want to go through 4 years of a crucible like that. And then beyond that, at least 5 more years of service. I can't imagine somebody that would be into it only for their own themselves versus something larger.
And there's always hope too. Like, I remember when I was a new cadet or a freshman, you're looking to the first class cadets. You're looking to the juniors and the seniors who have made it, who have done it, and you watch them and follow them. And it's interesting, most of us on the stage, if not all of us, are firsties now or seniors. And the freshmen watch us. They look at us. They follow our example the same way that we did 3 years ago. And that hope and assurance that this is possible, that it's difficult, but it's possible to do this and to do it the right way, it makes choosing that harder right each and every time it gets a little bit easier.
So understand how different they are. And I don't know if you can even answer this question, but 50 minutes away from you is Columbia, and 60 minutes is NYU. What makes you different than the typical college student, either in how you work, how you play, how you live, how you lead? How would you answer that?
I can't speak to the experience of the other colleges, but I would say that I believe an advantage that we have at West Point is a shared sense of purpose, because ultimately we all believe strongly that our job is to be the very best cadets we can be so that we can be the very best second lieutenants and platoon leaders that we can be. And when you take time to reflect on the soldiers that you're going to lead and the tasks ahead of you, it aligns you and allows you to buy into the West Point system.
What is it that makes you different?
I don't know if there's anything that makes us different than other college students, but there are shared values that we have that you might not find at another institution. Like I said, we can't necessarily speak to their experience, but the value of service and belief that America tomorrow can be better than America yesterday is something that we wake up every day and go to class at 7 o'clock in the morning thinking maybe if I was 60 minutes south of here, I wouldn't be awake right now. And I wouldn't be in a wool pants uniform if it's 90 degrees outside. But that sacrifice and that belief of service comes from our shared suffering in our basic training and the way we bond during that, but then also our shared understanding that what we're doing now will have benefits for all over the nation in 10 years.
It's Friday night, it's 9 p.m., it's sleeting and snowing out, and these cadets come running out of the dorms to hike for 8 miles, to sleep outside in the crap with heavy gear, and they do it gladly. Can you close, two of you, with why we should be optimistic for the future of America thanks to West Point?
I think it all comes down to the fact that, West Point has existed since 1802, right? And it has existed throughout over 200 years of American history. And throughout those 200 years, the American flag has been witness to massacres, it's been witness to war, has been witness to famine, but still it has persisted. Still it waves, and still West Point continues to serve those values of duty, honor, and country.
Someone who wants, you go on to the last word?
I don't know if you're wearing yours, but most of us are wearing our rings today. These rings have the gold from graduates going back and back and back. We wear the same uniform as those graduates. We believe in the same values as those graduates. And Dr. Luntz, I would say that moving forward into the future, you can be assured that I can at least speak for the 1,000 cadets in our class. We're dedicated to those values. We're dedicated to making America a better place. And looking down at the gold in my ring, I know there were thousands more before us that believe it too.
They're the best that the world has to offer. Please thank them. Thank you, West Point.
Thank you.